Hey FFBE, what's going on? So we are here with another Equipment Week review, and this week we got the Final Fantasy VI content. So we got the new Neovision base Sabin and Edgar. We got some Vision cards for like Coin of Fate. We got the Final Fantasy VI event farmables, and one little TMR upgrade. Honestly, it's a pretty easy week, and to help me out with this is DBarry.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for having me, Flip.
No problem. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
It's a very small week for equipment out, so, thank you.
Of course.
So we're going to jump right into the equipment. The first item on the list that is from the farmable stuff is the Tiger Fang. This is a single-handed weapon, so you could dual wield with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fist with 170 attack and 160 magic. Who is this for?
My gut says Cacteria. I don't know. Honestly, once upon a time, it was really great to get fists with magic on them. I mean, when Selfie's TMR or STMR, or I guess it was TMR, was about as good as you can do. And then we had the Trial Fist and Cacteria's STMRs, and those are all good. But now, I mean, true dual wield is still dead for us for a while.
Oh, it's gonna be dead for us for like 9 more months.
Yeah, I can see them potentially speeding that up, especially if these near units end up being as strong as we project them to be. Wanting to phase them out to sell new units makes a lot of sense.
True, but I mean, it's still going to be at least a few months.
That's true. So who knows, maybe then. But even still, for a new player, I mean, if you can get this and, say, a Mastermind Zahn TMR, you're just going to mow through every bit of story and probably 80% of the early trials.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great for a new player, farm it out, definitely. But if you've been around for, I don't know, I'd say a month or more, I don't know.
You're probably right.
Yeah, so then moving on to, and it doesn't have any passives on it or anything, so it's very forgettable. So then the second one is Valgarma Magisite Final Fantasy VI. It's an accessory with 40 magic, boost parameters of Espers evoked by 25%, and it enables Faraga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga. Do you think this is farmable? Do you think people should farm this?
Yes, there's absolutely nothing this week that is better than this single piece of equipment. For the exclusive reason, it's because it gives chaining frames. And you combine this with the Aranis ring, and all of a sudden you turn somebody into a unit that can quad cast. I believe these are Chaos Wave Awaken frames, correct me if I'm wrong, which is great. I mean, quad casting is a little niche these days, but why not, right? It harkens back to the Ars Arcanum staff from a Final Fantasy X event long ago, which, if you're like me, you skipped. And all of a sudden, being able to give units chaining frames become a much bigger deal. So if you do absolutely nothing else this week, this is what needs to happen.
I definitely agree. Whenever I saw this in the news this week, I was like, I have to get that. Just because it's so rare to have an equipable that gives you chaining frames. And especially like for a new player, you would equip, people say, oh, just equip a Esper and get these. Espers take forever to get, forever to farm, forever to level up. So just getting access to these GAs right off the bat as an equipable is amazing. But what do you think about the, what is that, Evo damage that's on there?
Yeah, I mean, that's just some decent flavor for the sake of how you used Esper Magisite in Final Fantasy VI. I appreciate it for what it is. It's completely irrelevant. I don't see us needing to give an Evoker this when there is just strictly better things that you can do. That said, it's not impossible to say that we could get a world where being able to give Tsukiko in her base form quad cast Chaos Wave Awaken Ice Frames is not useful. So who knows?
Looking up to see what is in that same slot that gives that. So in that same slot, the only other item in accessory slot that gives boost parameters of Espers evoked by 25% is the Lucid Ring from Final Fantasy X. That's it.
That's right, because the criteria that looks like it should have been an accessory, I think it's called Esper's Favor, which does something similar-ish, but just worse. Because it's a materia slot.
Oh, wait, I was actually searching by the value of 25%. So you also have the Celestite Signet of Will, actually, for 50%.
Oh. But are you really going to use that one?
No, you're probably not going to switch it over. And then you have the Determined Daggers STMR for 60%.
Yes.
So, which is significantly better.
Yes, it is. It's also a Neovisions STMR that was on a banner that most people did not pull for, as far as I'm aware.
That's true. So in the slot, if you're looking for boost parameters of Espers evoked, which is Evo damage, right?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay. The whole evoker thing of Evo damage and all that, it's very confusing.
I'm right there with you.
But if you're looking for that in this slot, it is one of the few items, and it is free this week. So it's good for two purposes, kind of like bonus good for one and amazingly good for the other. I could see this being equipped on like even a Dark Visions or Calclear for needing to get a chaining frame for something.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to be the person who skipped the next Reflect Ring, which this is. Because I have skipped 2 of the 3 Reflect Rings at this point, just through lack of Farsight.
I have farmed everything, good or bad, and so my inventory is flooded with garbage, like the Tiger Fang fist up there.
Oh, yeah, same. But hey, at least that's 170 attack as opposed to all of the Japanese Fanfesta units from forever ago. The Breath of the Rose dagger.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which admittedly is useful for dark equip, but if you don't know what that is, that's okay, because it's nothing.
Well, it was useful at its time because that specific item, it was so hard to get like dark weapons. So
yes,
it wasn't very powerful, but you did get because you didn't really have imbue as an option really back then. So
that's true. And at that point, dark weapons, I think, were that Dark Knight Cecil's TMR.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
eventually Glauca's Greatsword, and then that Chondroma item.
I actually think they kind of messed up for equipments by introducing imbue skills. I think like they could have just kept going with like powerful weapons of elements, and characters, other support characters could do the elemental buffs, but not actually imbue the element.
You're definitely right about that. The devil's advocate side is then it just encourages more copy pasting.
Yeah, same weapon, different element. Yep. But we wouldn't have absolutely terrible. You know, it would give them more options.
It's true.
It's like, okay, now we have the fire version of that. Great, we were missing that, as opposed to now we have another STMR we will never use.
Sure.
So.
Sure, you're right.
Okay, but scrolling down, yeah, farm out that Magisite. I can't pronounce its name.
You did it once, and it was right, so we're good.
Okay. And then the next item is a hat, not a helm, which is interesting because like crowns are kind of like helms. But the Royal Crown, Final Fantasy VI, it is a +1, so you do have to upgrade it. It has 42 defense, 52 spirit, and boost HP, attack, and magic by 30%.
This to me is an item that is confused about what it is and who it's for.
I don't really see. I mean, HP by 30% is nice, but it doesn't have any flat HP on it.
The same can be said about the attack and magic percent. I mean, if you really need to give a DPS percent but no flat and some extra bulk, I guess. But in that very niche circumstance, I feel like there's probably better.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense because it's both at the same time. It's terrible.
Yes.
I hate it.
It's just bad.
If you're lacking gear, I mean, sure, but like, its flat stats on it aren't that good. Like, what's the best for those stats in the defense and spirit? Let's take a look. We've got
spirit would be the Dancer's Diadem right now, which is just strictly speaking, arguably the best item in the game.
I mean, sure. I try not to count like those because you can only have one of those. But it is absolutely fantastic. And if you're gearing for spirit, you probably only need it on one unit. That's true.
That's true.
Second down from that, like something you could actually like get relatively easy is just Kresnik's STMR for 105 spirit with 30% spirit. So it's actually made well.
Or even Phasey's STMR, which is slightly worse, but guts.
And if you're going for defense, we literally got a much better defense item like last week with the glorious headpiece. 60 defense, 100% defense.
Yes. And if you happened to be lucky enough to have pulled a copy of Premium Jet, his TMR is just good.
Oh, yeah. His TMR is absolutely amazing. Equipment defense.
I
mean, so for free, it's not bad, but I wouldn't even see equipping it, honestly. Like, even over, like, Glorious Headpiece, which we got literally, like, last week. So.
Right. And if we even really want to play this out, go spend 10 UOCs on Avalanche's Jessie and get her TMR. Which is just a good hat.
Yeah. So it's not my favorite, but you know, it exists, I guess. I guess it's
useful for what it is.
You know, they're not that great. Things are just figureheads.
Right. But it is great for sprite art.
Yeah, I love it. I keep looking over it and I'm like, oh man, I really like that. I want that item. That must be really great. And then I look at its stats every time.
Yeah. It is only 7-star though, so that used to mean something once upon a time.
Oh yeah, the 7-star equipments, yeah.
I
wish they were actually accurate, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then moving on, we have Soul Saber, Final Fantasy VI. This is a sword with 170 attack. It's actually two-handed, and it has chance of evading some attacks. I'll have to look up unless you know off the top of your head what percentage that is.
I think it's 30, but I might be incorrect. $30 seems too good for a free item.
No. Alright, so it's 10%.
That's just bad.
Yeah, so we have a 170 attack two-handed weapon, two-handed sword, which, I mean, I guess if you're just starting, like, right now, it's a nice two-hander for you, but...
But
it's 170, which is way behind the times.
Yes. It's just, you know, it's sad too, because you hear Bewitching Demon Blade and you think, ooh, do you have Demon Killer on a free weapon, which is a pretty common killer and really useful? And no, just 10% evasion.
You could upgrade Star Player Titus's STMR in the Chronicle battle.
It's true. And I think at +2, it becomes instantly just better than 170, although admittedly waterlocked.
Yeah, but the +2 is locked to a event though, right? Oh no, actually you can't upgrade it at all unless you were playing during.
That's right. The Enhancite or the Sun Sigil, yes, I guess was the original.
Terrible. Well, otherwise you have Astria from Elena from 4 years.
Oh yeah.
170 attack, two-handed.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't have 10% evasion on it though, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could just go, if we're just talking about upgrading weapons that are strictly better, I mean, Dark Knight Cecil's TMR. I mean, the list is pretty extensive. I mean, you could even potentially just wait a week until near and upgrade the Virtuous Contract. I mean,
Oh my god, right? Yeah.
assuming as part of the event rewards, they give it away for free. Because if the 5 stars aren't on banner and they don't give it away for free, then that really is a moot point.
Yeah, I don't see, like, they haven't said that you could get any of the old 5 stars, or they didn't say any of that. They just said here's Virtuous Contract. So it would only make sense to me that it's just one of the panel like rewards or something like that. So,
I agree.
But it's coming.
I don't see them putting the old units on banner.
I kind of hope they do.
I do too, but I don't necessarily see it happening for sure.
True. Well, so yeah, just wait a week and you'll get something better than that, unless you really have no evasion gear. But you can gear a unit for 100% evasion just from old trial warlord gear.
It's true.
All right, so moving on, we have Sabin's Super Trust Mastery, Neovision Sabin Super Trust Mastery, God Hand. It is a fist with 220 attack, two-handed weapon, and Beast Killer for 100%. I
mean, variant speaking, 220 attack two-handed fists are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
100% killer is fantastic, but it is attached to a unit that people just aren't pulling for because Nier is next week.
Yeah, I mean, would I chase this? No. As soon as I get him, would I STMR? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I just randomly fluked my way into 1 or 2, and now I believe I have 2 of them, just because why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you're running a fist user, this is going to be one of your options for best in slot.
Absolutely.
So, I definitely see this as worth acquiring if you happen to get Sabin, but don't go for Sabin for the purpose of getting this, because...
Yes, please don't.
Because with Nier being next week, I just don't see it. But definitely a good item, and I'm glad that it's in the game and now possible for builds if you happen to get Sabin. But not so good that you need to chase for it.
Right.
Because, I mean, even looking at, what was it, Amarant's STMR, it doesn't have Beast Killer on it, but it's still two-handed and it's still pretty high attack.
True. That's true.
What is the attack?
Honestly, it's more worth having for no reason other than 100% of any killer on a weapon is almost always incredible. Because even for a physical attacking unit with no innate beast killer, this plus Ifrit is all of a sudden 225%.
Which just means you need one single materia and you're done.
And so Beast Eater Sense is a pretty easy trial to get a hold of. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah. I love that the senses are available pretty easy.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So, yeah. Love it. Moving on to Sabin's Trust Mastery. For him only, it boosts attack by 500. It is a piece of clothes and Sabin's Garb. 1500 HP, attack and defense 55, spirit 45.
So do you remember almost exactly a year ago, we used to get clothes worse than this as STMRs for Neovisions?
Yes.
Like just strictly worse.
Yes.
So stat-wise, not that bad. If you're a new player who just happens to fluke your way into a Sabin or Sabin, however you would like to pronounce it.
Sabine.
Why not? I'm sure that's a sound that they make in Japanese. It's not a bad stat stick. It's got good bulk, it gives you attack, and 1500 HP is nothing to really sniff at on clothes.
What I like is it also
gives
gives you defense and spirit. So
yes.
It gives you HP, defense, and spirit. So if you're taking your DPS into a trial, it makes them bulky, and they're not going to they will survive that AoE fixed damage attack.
Absolutely. I don't dislike this for a lot of newer players. Now, for people like you or I,
Yeah. It's I don't know. I like it. Maybe if I was gearing like 6 attackers and my gear was going down the list, maybe. But I mean, I could see this even being useful for somebody who is lightly farmed or just has a mid-tier account.
Sure.
The juvenile. Not like
absolutely.
The new player, but yeah. So I mean, it's not whale tier, but it's not new player stuff. So it's actually nice.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so moving on to Edgar. Edgar's STMR is Longinus, or whatever. It is a spear, 2-handed, like everything should be right now. 235 attack, boost attack by 500, jump damage by 100%, and dragon killer for 100%. Now, the boost attack by 500 is only for Embracer of Duty Edgar, but the rest of them apply for anybody.
So we basically just already have this spear, right? It's not so different from Kane's Lance upgraded. It's attached to arguably the worst unit that they've released in the last 6 months.
He's not usable.
No, he's not. He's not usable. He's broken even for himself. He's so behind our breaker meta that Seeker of Freedom Vaughn feels like a better unit still than this is.
He's an STMR carry. He brings you the spear. That's all he does.
Right. And for what, 100% Dragon Killer, which is really easy to get. Yeah.
Most Dragoons have Dragon Killer already in their kit. What really?
Almost implicitly. And then a lot of the jump damage boosting materias also have Dragon Killer. So if you really want 600% Dragon Killer and a terrible unit, then yeah, go grab it.
And a terrible unit, go grab it. Well, it does beat out Kane's Lance for the highest flat attack on a spear by 1. Kane's Lance is 234 attack, and this one is 234.
Yes, of course.
Oh! So it does become our highest flat attack spear.
Well, there you go. Go pull. Flip says whale right now.
Yeah.
Get that point.
For 1 attack, yeah. It's just...
Min-max, baby. Min-max.
Min-max, yeah. No, not... Hey, man, if you're trying to do that dark variance roll, it might be that... Oh, God.
You're right. That's your extra 100 mil right there.
Oh, God. 1 attack higher. So I don't see it. I mean, and there's other spears that are slightly lower attack but give more to jump percentage, or they might have equipment attack on them or something like that. So I just don't see chasing after it. If you happen to get it, and I don't know, I wouldn't even STMR Moogle it probably unless I absolutely needed it for Dark Visions for a build or something.
Absolutely agree.
All right, moving on to his Trust Mastery. It is what is it? Light armor? It's light armor, right?
Yep.
Attack, defense, and spirit 58, and for Edgar only, boost attack by 500. It has no.
I kind of want to feel like this is worse than Satan's.
It is. It has no flat HP on it.
Sure. And for a total of what, 13, 6, 19 total better flat stats? I guess.
I mean, it does have the boost flat attack on it, but only for Edgar. But who's
right?
So no.
But again, you have to pull Edgar to get it, so it's just already a loss.
Yeah, I just don't see it. For a TMR, it's the highest attack value you can get on a Trust Mastery, I suppose.
Yep.
But so if you're trying to gear out quickly, I guess, as a new player, maybe, but I don't know.
Counterpoint. Again, go blow some UOC and get Esther's STMR. 7 or 5-star base Esther's. Mm-hmm. Which is clothes, which means more people can use it. It has killers on it, which makes it automatically better, and I believe it is 3 attack points lower.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, prior to us getting the Clash of Wills materia for light armor arts or whatever it is, light armor was one of the hardest things to get equipped onto a unit because they either used clothes and robes or heavy armor and clothes or just straight heavy armor. So it's a more obscure. Are you willing to blow a materia slot for this? No.
No, definitely not. Or you could even just fuse your Zells together and get Zell's STMR, which is 55 attack and has Stone Killer 50%.
There you go. Done.
4-star STMR almost beats this out.
Well, that's funny you say that, because then we come to a 3-star STMR.
That's fantastic.
Which is just objectively the best item this week that doesn't give chain frames.
Well, yeah. It's the best. I mean, honestly, I made 2 of these.
I think I made 4 or 5.
I made 2 of them because at first I made 1, and I thought, oh man, this is great. I wonder if it stacks. But it says right there that it's not stackable, but I wasn't looking at this notice. I was just looking in-game. I was like, oh, throw 2 on Gal and see if he can get 1,000 attack. Oh, no.
I mean, the way I look at this is the same way that I look at Sky's STMR. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be the guy who doesn't have, 8 of them to go do Clash of Wills, clears, Koth, Sinzar. So...
Was that a dig?
Why not, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's got good attack on it for an accessory.
Sure.
It's got decent defense. And it's got great beast killer on it. So why not? Mm-hmm. And if you happen to be using Gal, it's got a 500 attack, which Gal actually can do decent damage, but against beasts, but that's it. So if you're fighting exclusively a beast enemy, you can bring Gal and throw this on him.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if Gumi's listening, hi Gumi.
How you doing?
If you would like to continue to make 3-star base STMRs just always have 75% killer, then all of a sudden 3-star base units become almost more desirable, then let's go ahead and objectively throw out 80% of the current Neovisions pool. Because I mean, Guy has a great STMR.
Mm-hmm.
His TMR is trashed here, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be good, nor does Guy need to be a good unit, because the STMR is amazing. Gao's is fantastic. If this is what they would like to continue doing, then please do it. Just please give us more of them.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like, whenever you load up on a whole bunch of the 3 and 4 stars, their STMRs are actually worth it. Great. Mm-hmm. Excellent. I love it. But,
absolutely.
But we only know that's coming from the JP side, so...
Right, of course.
So,
and I don't even know who the next 3-star NVA is. Off the top of my head.
Hold on a second. Pause. Alright, so we looked it up. There are no 3-star bases that are coming from the JP side, at least, that have been released as of yet. Mm-hmm. But there are some 5-star bases that are coming, like Yigo and Carlet and a few. So, but that doesn't bring us any STMRs.
It does not, and it didn't. I don't know if any of those are going to get upgraded, which is really sad because honestly, there's some fantastic 3-star units that could. They don't need to be usable, but just giving them an STMR, while that does increase our equipment clutter, if they keep being like Gao, then they're fantastic. Mm-hmm. And they're worth the space they take up.
Definitely, and it provides something to like the newer player, which often goes, how do I even equip this? Well, you've pulled 4 Gao, right? Fuse them together. Mm-hmm. So I really see it being beneficial. They don't even have to give them kits. I mean, it's nice when they do, but they don't even have to give them kits.
Yeah, they really don't. It's completely moot because the average player is only going to use it for a bonus unit anyway. So it's just not necessary for them to have kits. But giving them STMRs is just not a bad idea. Even if every single one of them is copy pasta exactly the same,
Make
but a
them
different
all
killer.
make them all just have like if you wanna do it, like upgrade them all to be like SLB units. Just every one of them
Sure.
copies Gal's SLB and just change what creature type it is.
Sure, absolutely. And make that corresponding creature be whatever the killer is. And then we can do some diversification between magic spirit or defense magic or attack spirit, or throw some HP on there. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, create the
Never higher than
whatever.
50. Just give us like having access to killers. Like, can you imagine a 50 attack and a 50 spirit killer
That would be amazing.
with 75% on it? That'd be fantastic.
Give me more of them. I'll farm out, like I'll pull on the banner until I get like 50 of whoever this 3-star base is. Which I think that they undercount the fact of how much people would just pull for a banner like that.
Yes.
Because people
Yes.
haven't stocked up on those units.
Especially because I said this a long time ago. I really wish that they would bring us back the old 3-star and 4-star bases, just put them back into the pool, and then remove, and even the 5-star bases, and then remove 50% of our Neovisions pool.
Basically remove
Because,
the
I mean-
ones that don't have usable Trust Masteries or STMRs.
And then you can put them back in if they get crowns.
Like, you can bring back the ones from the EX pool that have things like Equip Axe. Like, that's locked
Yes.
over in the EX pool. If I want to equip an axe and I just haven't looked up with that EX pool, I can't.
Or equip spear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's locked there too. I think equip heavy armor's there. So I mean, yeah, not to mention
Charlotte
all of these
with,
units.
Equip Heavy Shield, I believe.
That's it. Yep. Equip large sword is there, I believe. So I mean, all that is to say, all of those units. Definitely, I don't know. Hint, hint. Get an NVA. Wink.
Yeah, please. All right, but enough of that high
Yes,
horse.
enough.
So please, Alum or Gumi, please, just please. Okay, so the Trust Mastery reward for Gal has also been updated. Rage Meteor. It just does way more damage than it used to, and I don't know. It's a nice little equipable AOE damage if you're not equipping it on Gal.
And imbuable.
Yeah,
Which is cool.
It's an imbuable, quick, like it's not a quick move. It's got a really long animation, but I don't know if you're using Ilmatal and you don't have an AoE move.
Sure. Why not chip away?
Yeah, just there you go. You've got an
it's
equipable AoE damage.
It's definitely only good for Gao because he can triple cast it though, which really does help his damage output. Otherwise, it's
Not his
it's
best.
okay.
Not his best. Usable skill though. That's not his LB.
True.
His best equipable skill is cat, or his best multicastable skill is Cat Scratch, which he has to unlock.
That's true.
It's so you use his leap ability, and it's 33% chance to unlock Cat Scratch for the rest of the battle. So yeah. And it is more damage than Rage Meteor. So if you're actually trying to use Gal, just RNG and hope you get that skill instead of equipping this.
I'm gonna listen to this guy because he's clearly more patient than I am.
It's a 1 out of 3 chance. And you can triple cast. Just turn 1, triple cast leap, and you're probably gonna get the skill.
That's fair.
Okay. But I don't know. It got updated. Thanks for updating it. And then we move on to the last item on our list today, which is the vision card. I like the animation on it.
It's a good moment from the game. And it's better than the copy paste vision cards that we were getting for a while.
That is true. So it does have differences on it, and I like that it does do 500 attack to Final Fantasy VI units. I just wish that there were more Final Fantasy VI units that could use this.
Yeah. Because what this is for Cyan, I guess, and then the 2 new ones, and other than that,
I mean, you could
nobody.
throw it on Gao if you're using him, I guess.
I suppose that's true.
I managed to kit out my Gal to best in slot, and I got him up to 10k attack, so with 300% beast killer, so.
Which is tremendously respectable, until you then look over at EX1 Sabins that are hitting 99,000 just by being EX1 with okay gear.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I don't know. I like the 130 attack on it. That's nice.
Yes, that's fantastic. We're clearly moving into a new power tier of card.
It's got, attack 50%, equipment attack 50%. It's great. I wish that the Final Fantasy VI one wasn't locked.
Yes.
If it was just flat attack, this would be like one of the best cards, like hands down for anybody.
It's true. It would just objectively, in a lot of ways, be better for attacking units than that Legend of Die.
Oh,
card,
yeah, absolutely.
Which is still arguably one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah, I mean, do you know anything that's coming down the pipeline that's going to beat that?
Well, near now, but no, I don't think so, because even still, our version of that card on the global server was changed, if not by mistake, which they then said it was a mistake, but they're going to leave it alone. So it wasn't even supposed to, technically speaking, be what it is. And so now all of a sudden, because of a mistake that they decided not to punish the players for, we have a 1500 HP, 120 attack in Magic, 500 flat Magic card that you can use on anybody.
Yeah, it was a translation mistake in one of the versions, right?
Mm-hmm, I believe so.
It was like Spanish version or something like that. And yeah, they just published that it could go on everybody, and they said, well, we said that in one of the languages, so that's what we're going to do for everybody, which is an incredible way to deal with that.
Which is amazing. It's a great character check on their part.
Well, it's just, okay, so I look at things like this, the requirement, Final Fantasy VI unit, okay, and then you get something with requirement, FFB unit, instantly better.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And that's just unfair. Like, because this is a good card,
it is.
Except for the lock.
And I hope that they eventually decide to move more to roll locks as opposed to series locking.
Yes.
Because series locks are finite, whereas roll locks could be infinitely useful.
Mm-hmm. This says, I can only use this on Saber. Like, okay, great, I guess. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm not going for that card at all. But if this was roll locked to physical attackers, for instance, then I could see people pulling on this banner just to get this card.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that was the one big appeal to Tidus, or Premium Tidus's card, even though people didn't like that it was only 300 flat stats instead of 500. But it wasn't version locked, or it wasn't series locked, and so everybody could just get increase in chain cap and also flat stats on a 150 flat attack card. Why not?
Yeah, I think that if Gumi is listening, please switch it to roll locks. It's so much more usable. And also, if something's like FFBE locked, for instance, that means I can't use it on Saber. It makes collab units so much worse. Like, oh great, yes. Final Fantasy VI comes out. Well, I guess the whole reason that I started playing this game, which is because I like Final Fantasy IV or whatever, I guess those units just suck, and they'll always be terrible, even the new ones. So I shouldn't even pull for those, which I see as a bad flaw. So fix the series lock and make it roll locked.
It also makes it hurt less that on the global version we get 2 copies of their cards.
Yep.
Because I don't believe in the Japanese version, I think they only get the cards at EX3, but then their vision cards go into the pool of random cards that drop when you pull a Neo.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yes.
I actually kind of hate that whole random card thing now after playing for
I
a
do
while.
too. Oh my gosh. Can I get rid of them forever?
Well, it's the fact that they used to add new ones to the pool, and at least that was kind of fun. You're like, oh, here comes something with like 25% Beast Killer in the card slot. Okay, whatever. But now they haven't added a new one in like a year, so it's just a pool of bad cards that continually get worse.
Yeah, can we have a sell vision card function?
Like, I understand like why they changed it whenever it was first implemented, but change it again.
Please. Or just give me a sell vision card function.
The random vision cards at this point, especially with the VC select option, is there's no reason for them really.
Nope. It's just a classic, this system was great and is now just dated. And the easiest way to remove it as clutter is just remove the system completely. Similar at this point to arena summons and the panel boards and star quartz and,
But the problem with this system is that it interrupts one of the most vital functions of the game.
That's true.
For a lot of people, which is the summoning.
That's true. Technically speaking, depending on how you play and how you pull, it interrupts every vital function of the game, because if your vision card inventory is full, you just can't play.
Oh yeah, I probably have like, I don't know, 40 copies of that Chocobo card that has guts on it.
Well, I think I also probably have 800 Metal Cactar cards.
Oh god, let me sell some of them. I'm getting close to cap on inventory on cards.
I've hit it a few times at this point.
It's
So then I go and blow level ups on cards I don't care about.
apparently some people have reported that you can send a ticket and request like certain batches of cards to be deleted. And
Interesting.
And support might do it for you. You can just be like, delete all these, and they'll like do it for you.
That's a lot of faith in a third party.
Yeah, because it is not Gumi that is supported as a third party.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Because if they delete like my Ject card, then now I have a problem.
Yeah, right. Well, does that third party have actual account access though, or do they like send the request to actual Gumi? I think they just.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I think they just handle the requests and forward the important ones.
Maybe so.
If I was Gumi, I wouldn't give them control over stuff as a
No, definitely not.
So they probably don't. All right. Anyway, so it's a good card, but it's sad that it can only go on Final Fantasy VI units.
Yeah.
Going back up, Gal's Super Trust Mastery is absolutely amazing. Get as many of them as you can. Longinus is passable. Sabin's Garb is great, but not like top tier. Godhand is top tier for that slot now.
Agreed.
Valgarma Magisite is
Nailed
the
it.
best item in the week, though.
Yeah, easily.
All right. Anything you want to say before we wrap up today?
Nah, man. Let's go. Let's go get some androids.
Oh yeah, you excited for the androids?
Oh yes. I am one of the few people that I know apparently who has actually played the game, and so I'm pretty stoked about it. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
All right. Well, I look forward to reviewing all of the items that come out next week with you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Until then, peace.
Take care, guys.